Gunshots.
What?
Bombs. Innocent deaths. But what is the purpose? Does fighting get us anywhere? Did fighting help us in 3rd grade when the class bully stole our lunch? Was fighting necessary when that kid called us a bad name in 6th grade? So why is there still fighting? If fighting didn't benefit us as kids, why should it benefit us now? This is the problem in the Middle East. For thousands of years, Israelis and Arabs have been fighting just as we fought on the playground. And they're still fighting. And more fighting. But nothing has come out of this Middle Eastern conflict. So why continue? What happened when the teacher broke up the dispute between you and the bully? Did she tell you to fight until one of you surrendered? No. She sat you down, made you talk about it, and then let you go your separate ways. Your separate ways. We learned this little lesson as children, yet we can't apply it now. Peace, not war, is what's needed in the Middle East. Diplomatic, nonviolent negotiations are needed to resolve this dilemma. To solve this seemingly everlasting conflict, I propose a 2-state solution. One state governed by Jews, and the other under Muslim control. The 2-state solution would be most beneficial because 1, it would allow for more religious freedom for everybody. 2, a 1-state solution would increase violence. And lastly, a 2-state solution would positively affect the United States. Create 2 states, create peace. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, a conflict is defined as a state of disharmony between incompatible or antithetical persons or ideas. The ending of a conflict usually results in peace. But what is peace? According to Merriam-Webster's Dictionary of Law, peace is defined as a state of security or order within a community provided for by law or custom. This ongoing conflict between Jews and Muslims dates back to around 600 AD, when Muslim Arab armies captured the Jewish city of Jerusalem, claiming it as their holy land. This is where the dilemma stems from. Both religions claim Jerusalem as their holy site. Many years later, Israel declared statehood, May 14, 1948. Numerous wars and struggles for peace followed. Although diplomatic attempts have sprouted up, most have failed to work. In 1993, the Oslo Accords, a document that provides the framework for the current-day relations between Israel and Palestine, was signed by Israel, Palestine, and the U.S. Currently, Israel is in military control over this blue region, the West Bank. It's an eastern region of Israel located on the west bank of the Jordan River. They have recently handed over the Gaza Strip, which is this small blue area right next to the Mediterranean Sea. They handed that over to the Palestinian National Authority. The status quo of the region is basically an unstable brawl over land disputes and constant fighting. First, a 2-state solution would create religious freedom for Jews and Muslims in the Middle East. When thinking of the Middle East, most tend to think about the distinct religious values of the region. The population of the State of Israel in 2009 was 7,465,500 people. 75.5% of the population are Jews, and 16% are Muslims. According to the Declaration of the Establishment of the State of Israel, which is similar to the United States Declaration of Independence, it says, Israel will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion. Yet, according to Dr. Asad Ghanem, an Arab-Israeli political science professor at Haifa University, Israeli Arabs are not full citizens. This is the country only for Jews. By creating 2 states, Muslims would be treated as first-class citizens because they would be in control of their own country. Thus, a 2-state solution would create religious peace in the region. The other main solution for the Arab-Israeli conflict is one binational state with no religious affiliation. My next reason why a 2-state solution would be most beneficial is that the alternative binational state would just cause more religious tension. Establishing a single multinational country is a tennis path that does not bode well for peace, but rather enforces the conflict's perpetuation, said Shimon Peres, former Prime Minister and current President of Israel. Since 2000, there have been over 70 Palestinian bomb attacks aimed at Israeli citizens. As Shira Weisbach, Hebrew school teacher at Gratz Hebrew High School, put it, there is so much bad blood between Palestinians and Israelis, I don't see how a binational state could happen. This bad blood not only is a part of adult Muslim lives, it is also taught to young kids to take back the state of Israel.
ليستنهض الهمم
Muslims could not be successful living under one government. Create two states, create peace. Other than the satisfaction of having peace in the Middle East, the United States would greatly benefit from a two-state solution. Because of the bad blood between the religions, according to Tony Judt, British author, historian, and professor, a binational state in the Middle East would require a brave and relentlessly engaged American leadership. The U.S. and Israel have a very strong military, economic, and political partnership. Israel is a prime ally in the Middle East for America because of its extremely strong and well-equipped military, as well as its geographical proximity to many of America's fiercest enemies, such as Iraq and Iran. According to the CIA World Factbook, Israel's gross domestic production, or GDP, which measures the economic activity of a country, decreased due to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In peacetime, a country's GDP will increase. The U.S. is currently under an agreement which gives $3 billion a year to support the Israeli military. Because of the conflict, Israel needs extra aid to supply their military with bombs, guns, ammunition, and other costly machinery. By creating peace with the two-state solution and securing Israel as a state, the U.S. would therefore not have to produce these costly funds to protect their ally. And especially in this economic time, we do not need to spend all our tax money on Israel, and we should focus it on here in America. Create two states, create peace. My plan for a two-state solution would look as follows. The Israeli government would cede to the Palestinian National Authority, in addition to the Gaza Strip, as I told you, this region right here, which has already been seceded. They will secede the West Bank. As for Jerusalem, the holy city and main negotiating point for both religions, and it is also considered partly in the West Bank, it should be the capital of both new states. But when is this plan going to work? Well, for the U.S., as prime negotiators of this conflict, we need to start bridging the two sides together. With continual diplomatic efforts by the U.S. and the European Union, as well as support from both sides, the Middle Eastern conflict should be resolved in a few years. Contacting a congressman or a politician is the common call to action for most controversial issues. Yet, for the Arab-Israeli conflict, it is not them who are uninformed. It's the common man. Politicians are working on this issue all the time, but it's us, in our own secluded society of Upper Dublin, who need the information. Americans hear mostly about the deaths that come along with this conflict and base their opinions on the emotions that come with this. For instance, if you see on the news, Israeli bomb kills 20 Arab citizens, you don't hear the whole story, you just hear the death rates, and you immediately think Israelis aren't good people. But that's not the whole story. If only Americans knew the facts, then we can make a difference. What I'm asking you to do is not very difficult. If you could just tell one friend, one relative, one parent, the facts about this conflict, not just the death rates, but share the reasons and the possible solutions so that they can create their own opinion on the subject. With an informed nation, we can make a true effort in solving this conflict. Create two states, create peace. Two separate countries, governed by two distinctly different religions. First, a two-state solution would allow for more religious freedom for all living in the area. Second, the alternative binational state solution would create tension, not peace. And finally, the U.S. would greatly benefit from this peace. Remember that bully. Are you friends with him now? Or did you part your separate ways to make peace? And did this peace help the teacher and the rest of the class learn and prosper? This situation is not just happening all the way on the other side of the world. It's a situation being solved every day in every school around the country. Create two, create peace. This peaceful solution can resolve the conflicts facing us every day, as well as conflicts like this one in the Middle East or others on a national scale. So I ask you, if it worked all your life, why won't it work here? Create two states, create peace.